Oh, hi, it's me, the lady Ms. VaginaJenkins, and it's time for Queer Astrology. It's also Mercury retrograde time. Dun, dun, dun. It's not a scary time. It's just a time to be slow and intentional and understand that sometimes when things break down or fall apart, it's an opportunity for us to revise and consider our plans more intentionally. Yeah, that's what I'll say about that. To that end, I spent the last couple of weeks of March pre-recording all of my April Mercury retrograde content because I knew that the time between April 1st and April 25th, when Mercury was in retrograde or is in retrograde, would be potentially a difficult time with communication, with technology, that kind of thing. And so I thought to get ahead of that by pre-recording all of my content for that time span. And then today, April 1st, where Mercury actually stations retrograde, I decided to reconsider that plan. What is that saying about, oh, we make plans and God laughs? Something like that. Yeah, that's what today feels like for me. Yeah. So I spent the weekend revamping my website, and I just noticed that a lot of the astrology reading types and offerings that I had listed on my website didn't feel very clear. I think there was a lot of overlap between different types of readings, and I think that there was some astrology jargon used that wasn't necessarily communicating what I wanted it to communicate. So, in full Mercury retrograde fashion, I took the opportunity to reconsider, revamp my website, and, do some editing. And since it's on my mind, I thought to talk about all of the different sorts of astrology readings that I offer, what they mean, and I wanted to present them with an eye for understanding that there are so many ways to engage with astrology and to enlist the support of an astrologer that are not necessarily just centered on your natal chart. So let's talk about some of the astrology readings that I offer. If you see me looking over here, it's because I am looking at my laptop. I have my website open and I want to make sure that I've captured everything exactly as it is there. So a couple of things about how I do my astrology readings. One thing is that I offer 8 different types of readings to serve a wide variety of clientele, from beginners to astrology enthusiasts to fellow astrologers or people that have been studying astrology for quite some time. I use tropical astrology, which is also known as Western astrology, and it's based on how the sun hangs in the sky, not necessarily where the sun is in relation to the constellations, which is more of a sidereal or Vedic astrology thing. But yeah, I use tropical astrology. I blend and borrow from both Hellenistic or traditional astrology and modern astrology. And I use the whole sign house system because I tend to do things more in a traditional way because it feels a lot more aligned with my spiritual practice, which is rooted in how did my ancestors look at the sky. And so that's what I'm bringing to the table as like a theoretical framework or underpinning for how I do my astrology readings. I always tell my clients that, an astrology reading is not about determining your fate because you have free will and you determine your fate. So I will offer up some potential challenging energies or supportive energies that I see in the various charts, and then we strategize together. I don't think that an astrology reading is something that you receive You know, like put your hands out and you receive this thing. I think that it's something that we work at together, because I know some wisdom about the stars and you know some wisdom about how patterns emerge in your life. And together we share our wisdom and strategize how we can work with the energies that we see. So having said all that, let's dive into the astrology readings that I offer. So the first type of reading that I offer is called an Astro 101 reading, and it's the first astrology offering that I started offering professionally and publicly to people. And the Astro 101 reading is a natal chart reading. It runs about an hour and a half, and is actually the longest consult that I actually have. Most of them run between a half hour to an hour. But yeah, this one runs an hour and a half, and the Astro 101 reading is a natal chart reading that, yes, explores all of the energy and explains your natal chart to you, but at the same time, I offer astrology education. So it's like you're learning the basics of astrology at the same time that you are learning and understanding your natal chart. And I offer that because I think it's really useful to understand the why of what astrologers are trying to tell you in these horoscope columns or in these online forums like here on YouTube. I think it's really important to understand the why and the reasoning for the information that they're giving you, so that you're not just blindly consuming information that may or may not be true or false, you know? So yeah, I offer Astro 101 education because I think that it helps improve folks' discernment. I could be wrong on that, but I always want to share information with people, like why did I come to this theoretical conclusion about how things may or may not unfold. And so that's what Astro 101 is. So for example, yes, you would learn your big three, but why is the big three even important? What does the big three even mean? Sun, moon, rising sign. Why is this particular set of three planetary placements important? Why is it the building block of understanding your chart? How are your particular big three interacting with each other? And what does that mean for how energy might unfold over the course of your lifetime? So that's one example. We'll also talk about like day versus night charts, or the four quadrants and where you have the most energy in which of the four quadrants in your chart. We'll talk about all of the houses and what those mean, where you have planetary teachers placed in each of the houses, and where you have empty houses. What does that mean? So yeah, it's just a lot of like basic astrology knowledge combined with learning your particular chart. I have had the most success with offering this reading to people who are curious about how astrology works, or people who are just intellectually curious in general. My favorite people to read for has been Gemini risings, Gemini suns, because they just have that intellectual curiosity about them. And so it's like a dialogue, and I love when I am dialoguing and in conversation with people about astrology. Like I said, I don't think an astrology reading is something that you give, but something that we work together on. So yeah, definitely come to an Astro 101 reading, not only with an open mind, but with a curious mind. So yeah, that's the Astro 101 reading. You can find it on my website, VaginaJenkins.com. Check it out if that is something that you think would be useful to you. So that's it. That's the video. That's the first of 8 different astrology readings that I offer. Just wanted to offer up that information about how that reading works exactly, and stick around as we explore the other 7 readings. Also, if you would like to support this video, feel free to give a super thanks below. And if you want to support this channel and my capacity to offer up videos like this, consider joining the channel. Become a member of the Cosmic Cuties. You can check out the join button here below, and it shows you all of the membership levels and all of the cool perks that you get for being a member. As always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being part of my community. And thank you for making time for queer astrology. Bye, y'all. May the Mercury retrograde odds be ever in your favor.